greatest symbol of excellence in sports entertainment.
We are broadcasting from the Blue Chew Studios. Try Blue Chew free when you use our promo code ARN at checkout. Just pay $5 shipping. Hello and welcome to Arn. This is Paul Bromwell, and today I'm joined by the Hall of Famer, the founder of the Four Horsemen, the owner of the Four Horsemen brand, by the way, the greatest television champion of all time, and the man who last week reminded Bush Reed with the help of a steel chair why people call him the Enforcer. He's Double A. He's Arn Anderson. Arn, how are you this week?
Excellent. We're getting really into wintertime, aren't we?
Whew, you better believe that, sir. It's time for you to buy some sweatshirts from the Arn store. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and we got them, that's for sure. You know, hey, check it out if you haven't lately. The hats, we have a male audience predominantly. Good-looking hats are in the store. The jackets are on the way, folks.
And, buddy, as I tweeted out a couple weeks ago, when you have a bald dome like I do, you need as many hats as you can get for this cold weather, okay?
Yeah, and they're good looking too.
Well, and that helps with a kisser like mine.
Yeah, I mean, guys all wear hats, everybody. And, you know, there was definitely a request for them, so we got them. And I think you had quite a bit to do with the jackets finally coming to fruition.
Buddy, I'm just proud and happy that by the time, and you and I, and we mentioned it last week, we had an opportunity to jump in and get some shows done early. But within days of this being recorded, you and I talking right now, you will have a jacket in your hands with embroidered Horseman logo on the back, the Roman numeral 4 on the front. And, buddy, if it looks as good as it does in pictures, I'm hoping you're thrilled, but I'm hoping the sizing is real nice. If it all comes together like we think it is, these are going to be a premium, sharp object that we're going to be able to deliver from the Four Horsemen store, and I can't wait.
And I'm very proud. And thank you for all the hard work. Marcus, thank you for all the hard work. You guys are great, man.
Yeah, shout out to Mark Rice from Big Papa Corn, who we talked about a few weeks ago, who linked us up with the Music City group that is really working hard on these jackets. Guys, I'm telling you, you're going to want to jump all over it when they come out. It's unlike anything we've put out before. We had another vendor before. It was more of a screen print. These are embroidered. And these are going to be a premium item that every Four Horsemen fan, every Arn Anderson fan is going to want to have in your collection. And I just can't put it over enough, Arn. It looks fantastic.
I know. I'm excited too, man. Had more questions about that over the years, and like, when you're going to put a book out, and God, how do I get one of those Horseman jackets? We got the answer for you coming.
It's coming. That's right. Perfect transition, because that's where I was headed next, the book. And that's arncomic.com. Fully funded, as we mentioned last week, and there's lots of goodies now, lots of different packages that include Arn's signature and some other goodies and options as well too. Guys, check it out. Dirk Manning and his team have incentivized these stretch goals, and unlocking each one will give us a better finished product with more bonus material than you can imagine. Fans of the Enforcer, go to arncomic.com and contribute to the project. Arn, man, this is such a cool accomplishment for you in your career. And I want to thank the fans this week for everything they're doing to move this thing forward.
Well, I'm always thankful of them. They make everything possible. Dirk, you know, I have thanked you quite a bit. You and your crew have done a great job on this. It's been a pleasant experience. It's going to be a lot of fun for everybody, I think.
So good. arncomic.com, guys, check it out. Speaking of unfiltered, the creative of 1990, WCW certainly fits that bill. We had a lot of fun last week going through November 1990. Interesting skits and some things that we saw there with some black magic going on, Arn. Starrcade 1990 might be the best illustration of this fact, and we're going to cover it in detail on our way to the pay-per-view 30 years later. Can you believe this was 30 years ago, my friend?
Doesn't seem like it, but I guess it is.
And listen, we're having fun. We're armchair quarterbacking this thing the whole way through. But, buddy, it's going to wrap up in St. Louis in December. And today, we're going to relive some of these decisions that allow you to respond to them, Arn. But before we get to Starrcade 1990, let's take a look to the build as we do get to that Starrcade moment. And last month, Flair defeated Butch Reed with your help. We saw that. And as a result, you guys earned that title shot against Doom and Teddy Long. And Teddy, by the way, he did become Ric's chauffeur, so that's fun. And on the December 1st edition of World Championship Wrestling, fans see the interaction between Flair and Teddy Long. We have the interaction because you know what? We always do. And this is going to be the first clip of the week. We have their interaction. We also have yours and Barry's response to it, Barry Windham. Here we go. First clip of the week, December 1st, 1990. Let's check it out, Arn.
All day long. Come on down here, Teddy. Say hi to the camera crew, to the folks. Jerry, like I said, brother, I'll get you with 100 a minute. You got the day off. My friend, let's start like this. Here we go. Come on, Teddy. What's good for the goose? Hey. The contract, pal. You drive this for the day. You drive the Nature Boy around. Open the door. Woo! Bright lights. Big cities. Pretty ladies.
Here we are, Mr. Flair.
That's it, big man. Thank you very much. Hey, don't forget, the first stop along the way is to pick up AA. If you're waiting in the lobby, they're a minor renaissance. How's it feel, big man? Come on, Teddy, how's it feel? You told the whole world you're going to be driving around in this car? Well, you are. Woo! You know what? Big surprise, Teddy. At 3 o'clock. At 3 o'clock, I got Janet Jackson coming in. She'll be right next to the Nature Boy himself. Hey, pal. Hey, Theo. I need a Coca-Cola. Why don't you pull it right over the right here?
Okay. Okay, champ. Okay.
Hey, Theodore, thanks for the Coke, pal. It tastes real good. Now let's go to the airport. Hey, brother, what are you doing?
There's something wrong with the car.
There's nothing wrong with the car. Just keep going.
There's something
Long,
wrong with the car.
don't mess with my property, pal. Let's keep going to the airport. Long, I'm not going to tell you again.
I got to pull over and check the car out.
You're checking nothing. This is my car. You're working for me. We're picking up AA. Long, where are you going? Get back on the freeway right now. You're checking nothing out. Turn this car around. You're checking nothing out, Long. You're checking nothing out.
All right, get it. Hey, get it. Take him out. Take him out. Hey, give me that camera. Give me that camera. I want to film this. Give me that camera. Give me that camera.
Come here, Long.
All right, I got the camera now. I got the camera now. You know the day that you made me be a chauffeur. All right, let me take this camera down here. Well, what do you know? There's a World Tag Team Champions right there. All right, hey guys, y'all stand in front of the limo. That's our limo right there. Let me film it. Let me film it. I got the camera now. How about that sucker? How do I look back here? Oh, real good, Ron. All right, now, hey, Ron. You come get the camera. Let me get it.
Get over there, Godfather. Let's see what you look like.
Get the camera, Ron.
Get over, let's see what
You got the camera? All right. Oh, let me get this funny looking hat on. All right, Ron.
Give me a good move. Do it again, brother. For the whole...
Ric Flair, let me say something to you right now. You made the first mistake of trying to make the Godfather a chauffeur. Your second mistake is if you and Arn Anderson show up December 16th, St. Louis, street fight. Now, nobody intimidates the Godfather. Nobody intimidates the World Tag Team Champion. Now, lay that camera down, Ron. Lay it down. Let's go for a ride. He'll wake up pretty soon, and they'll find him in the camera. He'll wake up right now. Let's go for a ride. Lay it down, Ron.
Thank you very much, Jim Ross. Fans, I'm here with the Horsemen, Arn Anderson and Barry Windham. Barry?
You know, Bob, I'll tell you exactly. It's very, very evident why I'm here 3 months early off my 6-month vacation. The Horsemen have got a little bit of business to take care of. I got the phone call at the ranch, and I barreled back into town because the Horsemen are the dirtiest players in the business, and we're not going to be one-upped by anybody.
What about it, Arn?
Just hold it, Bob Caudle. You ask me what I think about it, it makes me want to puke. You pulled off a coup one time. You caught us with our pants down. You caught Flair off by himself. We're never alone, and you know that. So you seized the opportunity. Now you ask us, what's the rebuttal? By God, the rebuttal's always been the same. You jump us, we take off a head. In your case, Simmons Reed, the 16th will be not the Sabbath for you. It'll be the day that the devil himself crucifies Doom.
Fans, the stakes at Starrcade, they could not be higher. And we'll be back right after this.
Man, how much fun was that, watching Teddy set up Ric Flair in that limo? That was like shades of Dusty getting the beat down.
Yeah, it was a rough part of town, too, apparently, right?
Those guys look scary, dude. That was fun, though.
Now, either Teddy has got padded shoulders on that coat, or he is on the gas at that point, or both.
It had to be a little bit of both hanging with those two boys, because those boys were thick and big. I think they look bigger with those polo shirts on.
Well, yeah, of course they do. The tight sleeves.
Yeah, they had those tight shirts on, man. They look jacked.
Yeah, and they didn't need to disguise anything, though. They were jacked.
My goodness. But this is awesome. This is fun. I love the storytelling. It helps move the story along because the attack resulted in a storyline injury to the Nature Boy. That's how this got all set up. It's also good to see Barry Windham back in the fold as he took the interview with you. Both of you guys keep it simple. It's old school. You promote the match with Doom while putting the opponents over. I love it. But in terms of what we saw with Nature Boy, this looked like something the Horsemen did to their opponents back in the day, as I said. What did you think of what we got to see there and that whole build-up there?
Well, I'm just kind of really seeing it and thinking about that. It was kind of good for the goose, good for the gander, maybe something along those lines. I didn't think about it, but yeah.
Hey, Teddy, hey, Long, give me a Coke. We're on the way to get double A. Oh, so good.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad I never got picked up that day.
It worked out for you, buddy. They didn't swing by your house at all. So
that's right.
That, you know what? Those kind of angles do a lot more for me than what we saw with the Black Scorpion. But I digress. The story continues, by the way, to build the Starrcade on December 16th on the December 9th episode of the main event. Let's continue it on. It's a match between you and Terry Taylor. We're back. And Flair was ringside. Doom would come down to the ring to attack both of you. And here it is, our second clip of the week. We're going to take a look at the closing moments of this TV title match and then Doom's interference. This is from the main event, December 9th, 1990. Here we go.
It's obvious to see that Flair will be at 100% at Starrcade 1 week from tonight in that street fight. There he is right there. He has refused to talk to us, but he has made this appearance on the program. It should dispel any rumors that Flair will not be 100%.
Well, if he comes out to ringside wearing that nice suit, I wonder
the lateral press right here. There won't be nice suits, Missy. It's a street fight.
I don't think he's going to wear that.
What do you think he's going to wear? Logger boots or cowboy boots or something?
No, Gucci shoes.
Yeah, that won't go very far with Simmons and Reed. He'll be out of his element attire-wise, but not athletically.
Like wear his pads, his shoulder pads, and his jersey for Florida State.
Who knows? We'll find out 1 week from tonight. It's exclusively on pay-per-view. Straight left hand. Arn Anderson now taking over on Terry Taylor as our camera looks right over the shoulder of Ric Flair, who looks to be 100%.
I never thought Terry Taylor could last as long as Arn Anderson.
Anderson caught him coming in with that knee. I think a lot of people disagree with you on that one. Taylor is a great athlete. He's in the top 10. Obviously, so is Arn Anderson. Anderson getting nailed in the leg by Terry Taylor. Taylor slams him off the top rope.
Terry Taylor just might do it right here.
Taylor drops the knee on Arn Anderson. The championship is within his grasp. Wait a minute, what's Teddy Long doing out here? There's Teddy Long out here, aggravating Nature Boy Ric Flair. And here comes Ron Simmons and Butch Reed. They nail Taylor from behind. The street fight is 1 week from tonight. And Doom trying to hurt Anderson. Flair has been nailed. Flair has been rented to the post. He's down.
Arn Anderson better get out of there.
Do you think Ric Flair's at 100%? He's got that chair. He'll be in St. Louis 1 week from tonight. And we'll be right back.
Arn, real nice job, by the way, of JR, making sure we as the audience are aware Flair is not 100%.
Yes.
And that's important because the substitution of bringing Barry in. So the beatdown does mean something, and JR really doing a nice job there on commentary as far as making sure, okay, now we understand why he would need to be replaced. But do you remember the office now starting to figure things out as far as the Black Scorpion, connecting all the puzzle pieces and saying, Flair, we're going to pull you out. You're going to be the Black Scorpion, and we're moving, Barry now into this position with Arn for Starrcade.
Well, I think the angle that got done the most good was us and Doom. You know, for just a moment, you put the Black Scorpion thing aside, and you made that match itself mean as much as you could. We'll see how it plays out with the final episode of the Scorpion. Correct? That's coming
right.
up.
That's part of this. Yep.
Yep. So let's just see how it lays out. I mean, I like the storytelling by JR. If you missed last week, he catches you up.
That's right.
That's so important when you have a episodic television show.
It is, and you can certainly finally start to see the dominoes falling into place as far as how Flair kind of, again, takes that left turn, or, you know, the left or right turn, however you want to look at it, from this feud to then start to transition into becoming the Black Scorpion. Okay, Rick, we're going to need you now to become the Black Scorpion, because they didn't have, I guess, an official end in sight as far who that was going to be. So this is kind of how that all changes, and they use the Doom storyline of him getting his ass beat in the parking lot to pull him out of that match. So there we go. Something that we found in the research. I got to put the research guy over for this because he dug this up. Larry Cameron, Arn. He substituted for Ron Simmons on the house shows leading up to Starrcade 1990. Cameron would pass away only 3 years later in 1993 at the age of 41. He was most famous for working with Stu Hart's Stampede Wrestling, becoming the heavyweight champion in 1989. He had, by the way, beaten British Bulldog Davey Boy Smith for that championship. But when Stampede closed, he became a journeyman of sorts in multiple promotions until he did pass away. But I wanted to ask you about him, Arn. Do you remember Larry Cameron at all in December of 1990, or any interesting stories about him? He just worked here shortly, substituting for Ron.
I don't.
Okay.
I know the name. I think he was a pretty good sized guy too, right?
Yes.
Physique guy. Yeah.
Physique, yep, body guy, and they would have him kind of come in and fill in for Ron. I don't know if he was just dealing with some lingering issues leading up to Starrcade, giving him a little bit of a break on the house show loop, but they went with Larry for that stint.
I don't recall.
Nothing recall. And again, this is 30 years ago, so no worries there.
Sorry, Larry.
All good. Larry, like I said, he went on to pass away just 3 years later. But yeah, big dude. And if you guys ever have a chance, you can obviously Wikipedia him and see he played college football. He was drafted in the NFL, by the way, by the Denver Broncos. So big boy, trained by Eddie Sharkey and Stu Hart, big time wrestler there. Arn, lots of adults choose to use nicotine, but like hitting the spine buster, there's a right way and a wrong way to do it. If you're one of the millions of adults who use nicotine, you know not all products are the same. And there's one new product that stands above the rest. Lucy Breakers are the only nicotine pouch that gives you a blast of flavor from the first moment to the last. Each pouch contains a capsule that you break open to release a rush of flavors that don't fade away like those other pouches do. You know, the ones that rhyme with thin. They come in so many flavors. Whether you like mint, berry, citrus, mango, and even espresso, they have them all. And you don't want to go to the gas station or corner store to get them. All you have to do is order online, and they'll be shipped straight to your door. Convenience. And if you order it online, you're going to get it free shipping as well. And if you subscribe, you'll save 15% and never run out. They'll always be replaced. So whether you use nicotine while working, creating, or playing, Lucy Breakers are the intelligent choice. And we've got a special deal for the Arn Show listeners. You can get $10 off your first order when you use our promo code ARN at checkout. And shipping is absolutely free every single time. That's Lucy, LUCY.co. LUCY.co, promo code ARN to receive $10 off and free shipping. Visit lucy.co for more details, and we thank Lucy for sponsoring the podcast. Lucy products are only for adults of legal age, and every order is age verified. This product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. So Arn, Starrcade 1990 Collision Course is what they called it, took place at the Kiel Auditorium in St. Louis, Missouri. St. Louis is an amazing wrestling town, has been for decades. We've talked about it on the show. They had a well-documented history of supporting the wrestling business. This is also one of the former strongholds for the NWA. What memories, good or bad, can you share with our audience about working in St. Louis, Arn?
Well, the fans were conditioned to hour Broadways. They were conditioned to wrestling. They were conditioned to the top guys from every territory. That was like when you figured out you had made it in the business, when you were requested to come to St. Louis to wrestle. There were all positives in that, and it was just a sign that you had made it. And like I said, the fans are great. Sports City, you know, their baseball team, they've had NFL football teams. I mean, you name it. It's just but wrestling, you know, going back to Harley Race and the NWA and the Briscoes and the Funks and Flairs and all those guys that can go out and give you an hour Broadway. St. Louis was one of the towns that would receive it the proper way.
And NWA, the current NWA, still makes a lot of effort and does get back to St. Louis, to that home base for a lot of their shows as well. So always known as a hot wrestling town. Here at Starrcade, 7,200 fans attended. 6,357 of them were paid. And I don't know if you remember this or not, Arn, but this pay-per-view was the site of the Pat O'Connor Memorial Tag Team Tournament. That means that fans saw 7 tag team matches as part of this tournament. That does not include another tag match, which would be the Skyscrapers versus the Motor City Madman and the Big Cat. You have Spivey had been away from the company for a year, and Sid had been feuding. They'd been feuding leading up to this pay-per-view. We had talked in previous weeks about the television time that was used to build Sid as a credible threat to Sting and the biggest member of the Horsemen, but at Starrcade, a tentpole event for WCW, as we know, Arn, Sid is paired with his old running mate, Dan Spivey here. What did you make of this decision? Now, all of a sudden, we see him fighting Sting for the world title at Halloween Havoc, but here at Starrcade, he's paired back up with Dan Spivey for a tag team match.
Sounded like it was tag team night, right?
It was. There was a huge tournament going on, yeah.
Yeah, if you're going to get away with it, just, adding Danny in there back with Sid and having one from the past, that would have been the night to do it, I guess. I don't think there would have been that many questions of, well, isn't he a Horseman? I mean, why is he wrestling with Spivey? I think that was a night you could probably get away with it.
All right. Following Starrcade, Sid worked with Brad Armstrong on all the house shows. And so let's talk about that a little bit. Tell me, Sid working with Brad Armstrong, so much he could have learned from Brad working with him, don't you think?
Well, Brad is one of the best of all time, and I've said that countless times. He would have known what his job was that night, and it would have been to make Sid just this unstoppable force, this monster. And I'm sure if we had a clip of it, that's what it would reflect. Brad knew his job every single night that he entered the ring. He had a wrestling IQ that was way up there and came from a great wrestling family. So he would have been a perfect choice to keep the build on Sid and not have to have Sid in the main event, obviously.
Well, we move on to the event, and Arn, at the event itself, not prior to the event, at the event itself, at the beginning of the show, it's announced that Ric Flair will not be at the event due to the attack committed on him by Doom and Teddy Long. You and Barry are interviewed by Tony Schiavone to respond to the absence of the Nature Boy. And by the way, the research guy informed me that this is the match you referenced a couple of weeks ago, describing it as one hell of a fight. You said that, and this is it. We do have the interview here, but before we get to that interview, I got to ask, what are your thoughts on a major star like a Ric Flair being promoted for weeks to be at Starrcade? I almost said Starrcast, but at Starrcade, and then all of a sudden, that the night of the event, you come out and tell your paying pay-per-view audience, oh, he's not going to be here tonight. We regret to inform you. Are you kind of okay with that as far as if it's just a storytelling tactic? Or what do you think?
Kiss of death.
Yeah.
If you want your company to have the right reputation, the fact that when they advertise something, that's what they give you, because how are you going to replace Ric Flair? What's second? What's going to be just as good? And if you have to have, if there's an injury or something that is so bad that you cannot get a guy there, your responsibility would be the replacement to at least be as good, if not better.
The only thing that I guess fans are clinging to at this point is they finally going to get the big reveal, hopefully, of who the Black Scorpion is, right? But at the end of the day, it just ends up being Ric Flair, who you were promised in the first place on the show.
Yeah, I mean it's.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, well, you got it. It's like one of those deals. I've never been a fan of having a replacement for any match that's in the main event slot. If it's underneath first, second, third match, that falls under the subject to change. Little bit of on the bottom of the card subject to change, that falls under there, but you can't replace a Ric Flair, that's for sure.
So you come into the show expecting Flair. You find out at the beginning of the show, oh, Flair's not going to be here because of that entry to Doom. Okay, I'll deal with that. But at least I'll find out who the Black Scorpion is. Oh, it is Ric Flair. All right. What a journey. Here we go. Clip 3, Starrcade 1990. Let's take a look, Arn and I. Here we go.
Saw what happened on the famed limousine ride. Nature Boy Ric Flair, of course, in his limousine with Theodore R. Long, and then what all transpired. You said at the top of the show that Nature Boy Ric Flair has now been pulled out of this tag team match, and here they are.
He hadn't been pulled out of any tournament. Flair pulled himself out. Believe you me, whenever you sign one horseman, you sign them all, and we're going to win this world title match tonight.
Give me that camera.
Tony Schiavone, the people of St. Louis have been geared for violence, pure, unadulterated violence. Doom, this thing didn't start out personal. You made it that way. Now, buckles, cowboy boots, chairs, baseball bats, anything goes. We got nothing to lose. You look at these faces, beat on them all you want. You, in turn, have got everything to lose. The world title.
All right, Jim and Paul H. Certainly it shapes up for maybe one of the most violent matches we've ever seen right here. Let's go back to you.
Simmons going up top. And Windham caught. A blatant low blow, but remember, this is a street fight match with no disqualification.
He's going for the superplex.
Windham has got him up. And the superplex. What a move. This may be all for the title. We got 1, 2, and a half inches away from new champions.
But Butch Reed is now coming up from behind. Arn Anderson does not see him.
The shoulder block by Reed. He nailed Arn Anderson. Windham throws Simmons out. And now the Horsemen are in there to double team Hacksaw Butch Reed. This match with no disqualification. And a DDT is for the World Tag Team title. And Simmons is coming back with a steel folding chair. And he means business, brother.
Yeah, but Arn Anderson saw him coming in. And now the enforcer, Double A, the toughest man of the Horsemen, Arn Anderson, gets that chair from Ron Simmons.
Simmons blocked the chair and nailed Anderson with it. He hit Anderson right in the face with a chair. 1, 2, and Anderson got it up. What intensity! They will not quit. And a pile driver by Reed on Windham.
Now Reed is doing something very, very stupid. He did not go for the pin. And he had Windham down, and he had Windham hurt.
I don't think they care right now. They want to hurt each other, and that's just what they're doing. The residual effect of this match is going to be enduring for both teams. Over the top rope goes Reed, but remember, no disqualification.
And now you got 2 members of the Horsemen against 1 member of Doom. And I think Simmons is in a lot of trouble.
Anderson up there on the second turnbuckle.
Oh!
He was met by the clothesline. Reed knocked Windham out of the way. And Simmons met him with a clothesline. Windham for the ride. Inside cradle. Wyndham's got him. They're both made a pin. The referees count both teams. Both men were pinned.
Well, who won?
The referee is. Look at the referee. Nick Patrick. He counted both teams down.
So who wins?
We got a double pin. What do we have? Windham over the top. The bell sounded, but they're still fighting.
So who won the match? Hey! What's going on?
Well, both men were counted down. They're fighting back down the rampway.
Hey! For the belt!
We'll have to get a clarification on the ruling. We don't have it yet. Anderson elevated on the runway. Windham clotheslines him. Reed just nailed Anderson.
I still don't know who won the match.
One hell of a street fight here at Starrcade 90.
Well, Arn, there it goes, the crazy brawl. One hell of a fight, as you said. What'd you think of this one?
We just started out with Barry superplexing Simmons off the top.
Dude.
At that day and time, that was huge.
Yeah.
Ron Simmons was probably 275 at that point. Superplexing a guy off the top with those cowboy boots on who weren't, you know, they didn't give you a whole lot of security or tightness around the ankles, you know. It wasn't like having a wrestling boot on. That was just how strong Barry was. That's what made Barry special. He was as smooth as Brad Armstrong and strong enough. I saw him do that several nights to Animal, 300 pounds plus. Stand him straight up, superplex, which was huge for that time. It really was. And like I said, it was a hell of a fight. You know, I don't know, was that rendered like a double pin, match continues, and
yeah, so it was a creative way to, I guess, end it as far as the contest. It was voted, believe it or not, the best match of the night by the fans from the Wrestling Observer newsletter. But yeah, it was kind of just like a double pin thrown out kind of deal. There was no clear-cut winner.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been one of those things where I think
in today's world, I would rather them just, okay, let's restart the match.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say, and then, you know, let us fight some more, and then fight out of sight, and that's it.
I wanted to comment too the promo before we got into the match. You got on your hat on backwards. I mean, looking badass as only you could. You got your fists are all taped up, looking like you're just ready just to pop someone open. You guys have the look, the cowboy boots. First of all, dressed up in all that garb. Was that comfortable to get some fighting done in, or what?
No, it's not. You know, it was blue jeans, and this was prior to the stretch jeans era.
That's right.
But it was a street fight, and if you're going to promote it as a street fight, come dressed like it's a street fight.
Like it's a bar brawl. And by the way, we only watched like the last little bit of that entire match. Rest assured, there was no feeling out process in this match, Arn. From the start of the bell, it was full throttle from the start to the finish. But what is it like just trying to get prepared mentally for a match like this, the pace, the physicality? We just know, hey, we're just going to go and we're going to be hurting when this thing's over.
Yeah, it's there's no way to sugarcoat it. You got two badasses in there and basically no rules. That's going to favor the one that's just willing to hold nothing back, you know, which in this case was all four of us. If you zoomed in, I'm sure Barry and I were bleeding at some point pretty good, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You were bleeding. Yep. It was definitely, it was rendered a no contest. They had the double pin, as we mentioned. You had the brawl continue on after the match, which, you know what I like, because it continued to show the intensity of the situation. So, you know, ultimately it keeps both teams strong, keeps the feud alive, on fire. And, you know, when you think of a pay-per-view, you'd like to kind of see some closure as a fan. That just wasn't what was in the cards for this show, for this particular match. But
let me ask you this. We had a couple of matches prior to that ended in a non-decision, right? We had a couple clips. So here's another non-decision. But that match is not, we haven't done it to the point and sickened the fans to, I don't want to see that again. I think you want to see another one.
Yeah, absolutely.
So in this particular case, the goal was to
keep it going.
Not have a decision, certainly not beat those guys for the tag titles, but keep us in the hunt, keep us in the fight. And that was accomplished. So,
yeah, you make it. You're absolutely correct. It keeps the feud going, and it keeps it hot. Okay, it's another creative way to keep it going. And by the way, as I said, voted best match of the night, earning 238 votes out of the 447 casted on the Wrestling Observer newsletter. Did you think this match would have been as good with Flair instead of Windham as your partner, or were the best participants for the match here in this match?
I liked it.
Okay.
I liked it. It just put Barry back in the saddle as who he was.
Yeah.
And he was a player from day one in the business. And this just reinforced that he still was a force to be reckoned with.
Arn, that match was everything you advertised it to be. It was physical, intense, fast-paced, and nonstop. And fellas, if it's been a while since you could describe your bedroom game with those very adjectives I just described, the Horseman Doom encounter with, then it's time that you reach out to our oldest and most faithful tag team partner of them all, and that, my friends, is Blue Chew. Isn't that right, Arn?
You just had to tack it on to being a street fight in the bedroom, basically.
Essentially, I mean, fast-paced, nonstop, physical, intense. That's all what happens once you pop one of those suckers, buddy.
Yeah, there's not a lot of things in this life that are guaranteed that you can count on. Blue Chew is one you can count on.
That's right.
Never fails you.
And you don't need your blue jeans on for it. You don't need your cowboy boots on for it. You don't need anything on. You just pop a Blue Chew and you're ready to go.
Maybe the big belt.
Ride 'em cowboy.
I'm saying.
Listen, they're an online prescription service, by the way. The people on YouTube, they dig these Blue Chew ads. There are no visits to the doctor's office, no awkward conversations like you and I are having, and no waiting in line at the pharmacy. It ships right to your door in a discreet package. That's the best thing. It's simple. BlueChew.com. Consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, boom, boom, bang, you'll receive one prescription coming your way within days. The best part is it's all done online. We love to hide it online, baby. Don't like swallowing pills? No problem here. Blue Chew's tablets are chewable. There's a lot of reasons why it's hard to perform. Many of them. It could be whatever, performance anxiety. It could be medical conditions. It could be any of those things. It happens all the time in bedrooms all across this great country of ours. Guys, get on BlueChew.com. They can make sure you're able to perform at the top of your game every single time. Try Blue Chew free when using our promo code ARN. Nothing else. Nobody else's promo code. I don't care if they're on ad-free. Use our promo code. It's ARN, A-R-N. You just pay $5 shipping. That's BlueChew.com, promo code ARN. Receive your first month free. Free is for me. Go to BlueChew.com for more details and safety info. Arn, as we promised a couple of weeks ago, this will be the last show where we talk about the Black Scorpion in any detail. Yes. Can say thank you now. After months of voiceovers from Ole, bad black magic, multiple messenger scorpions, Sting finally gets his hands on the Black Scorpion. During his entrance, the Black Scorpion comes out of a pod that JR refers to as a spaceship. I mean, we've gone everywhere with this angle. Now he's coming out in a spaceship. 4 other Scorpions accompany him to the ring. Dick the Bruiser is the special referee for this one. We should have incorporated him into a Blue Chew ad. During the match, the Black Scorpion hit a gut-wrench suplex and followed it up with a figure 4 leg lock, potentially hitting at his identity for the live crowd. Sting removed the Scorpion's mask only to reveal a white mask underneath, because, we need a little bit more drama. The Black Scorpion began bleeding, and his mask started to turn red. Blonde hair peeked out from underneath the hood. And with that, we have the closing moments of Starrcade 1990 in our 4th clip of the week. Here we go. The freaking Black Scorpion.
Stinger's got him. Wow. He got him with a clothesline. He got him with a clothesline.
Sting needs to take it on him now.
Straight right hand by the champion of the world. The Black Scorpion has been battered. The Stinger going up top. Standing on the top rope, and he flies. The heavyweight champion caught him. 1, 2, 3. Scorpion's hit the ring.
Now would be the time for the real
They're
Scorpion.
taking mask off right and left. Dick the Bruiser and the Stinger.
The Scorpion's going to escape. The Scorpion is going to escape.
The Scorpion's got to take that mask off, but he's trying to escape. He's trying to crawl over the top. We got about 2 minutes left. The Scorpion trying to crawl out.
He needs to get out.
Arn Anderson just nailed Dick the Bruiser from behind with a steel chair. Windham and Anderson are here to take over on Sting.
We got about a minute left. DDT on the chair.
The DDT, the champion. We got 2 minutes left. 2 minutes left in the match in this whole pay-per-view.
Wham!
Anderson with a chair.
They're trying to finish him off for good. They are trying to finish Sting off for good.
Well, if it's a Horseman in there, then it leads me to believe that it would be, another Horseman under that mask.
No way. Oh, who is it?
There's a Seaman and Ricky Morton trying to climb the cage.
They got the cage door locked. Nobody's here to save Sting. Not even the little Stingers can save him now.
The Scorpion is on top of Sting, nailing him. The champion has been battered, but he beat the Black Scorpion. Here come the Steiners. They got some bolt cutters or something.
They better have some CPR skills. I think it's over for Sting.
Sting back to his feet. Grabbing the mask. Trying to pull it off. And here it comes. Here comes the mask.
Who is it?
It's got blonde hair.
But it's not long hair. Who is it?
We got 30 seconds. It's Ric Flair. The Black Scorpion is Ric Flair.
It's Nature Boy Ric Flair.
Sting won the title. He's retained the title. The Black Scorpion was Nature Boy Ric Flair.
Oh my God! All hell's breaking loose, Arn. It's the Nature Boy. There it is, buddy. The finish of our 4-month storyline.
Oh, well.
The creation of the American Dream Dusty Rhodes Starrcade. What's your immediate reaction to the carnage at the end of that match?
It was wild. I did like the chaos, but it would have been nice if you pulled off that mask and it was somebody from another company,
Yes.
somebody on top.
You said Kurt Hennig at one point a few weeks ago would have been fun. Remember?
It would have been.
Yeah.
It really would have been. So, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, listen. First of all, when Rick Steiner's running down there with bolt cutters and Barry Windham runs over to fondle the cage gate, dude, get your fingers away from there with Rick Steiner with a pair of bolt cutters. Do you want your fingers anywhere near Rick Steiner with a pair of bolt cutters?
I don't want to be around Rick Steiner, period, because his mood determines the safety of everybody in the ring.
I'm like, get away from the cage door. Rick Steiner's got bolt cutters, buddy. If you like your fingers, just watch out. But then there was all kinds of scorpions in there. Rick's climbing the cage at some point, and then I guess he just decides, well, nobody's coming up to get me. I might as well come back down in the ring. He quit doing that. So he comes back down. You can tell they're up against it to get out of the show. They got to cut pay-per-view. They're probably being told in their ear, obviously. I mean, Jim Ross was constantly doing countdown, and they still don't have the mask off yet. And they finally got it, and once it finally just almost got ripped off right away, he yells it's Ric Flair so that we at home know who it is, and then we obviously see it when he goes down the rampway. So the timing issue was off. The crowd's chanting for Luger. Didn't end up seeing Luger come down, but what a chaotic scene, man. I mean, the crowd was on fire, though, Arn. They were excited.
The only good news to come out of that whole deal is I got to hit Dick the Bruiser with a chair.
Dick the Bruiser. Oh, man. Any good Dick the Bruiser stories?
That was the only time I was ever in the same building with him.
So why were you excited to hit him with a chair? Just because he was such a legend?
Legend.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, show me a legend, I'll show you a landing point for a chair shot.
There you go. I like it. Arn was the legend killer before Randy Orton.
I was sick like that, you know.
Give the ultimate gift to the wrestling fan in your life this holiday season. You've asked for it, and I can't believe this is real, but now you can give the gift of ad-free shows. Head over to adfreegift.com now to purchase an ad-free show subscription for a friend or loved one. Simply click on Gift a Subscription and choose a plan. Plug in their email address, and just like that, your gift is on its way to their inbox. In my opinion, you simply will not find a better value in wrestling this holiday season. Get over with that special someone in your life by giving the gift of ad-free shows. Visit adfreegift.com right now to get started. That's adfreegift.com. Your one-stop shop for the wrestling fan in your life this holiday season is adfreegift.com.
Oh, man. Well, listen, like both of us, our fans have some questions about the Black Scorpion. Our friend, a wrestling history of wrestling history, and Brad Stanton both want to know who other than Ric Flair should have played the Black Scorpion. We've talked about this before, but we got more folks that want to know thoughts on who do you think would have been fun to be the Black Scorpion instead of Ric Flair.
I think in the long run, Kurt Hennig would have been perfect.
Yeah.
Because once you got down to matches, you know, you could have very easily put the title on him. He could have held it.
Back in those days, he was so ready and healthy and athletic.
Oh, and he would have known exactly what to do to get Sting as a challenger to the next level. You know, the whole thing was to build Sting. Sting was the guy. He was the figurehead of the company, and they were going to make him as strong as they could. So he would have been perfect in that role, I would think.
I like it. And we have a follow-up, and this is more about steel cages in general. We just saw a few weeks ago a steel cage match with Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. But when you think about steel cage matches in general, this comes to us from our buddy Yambag Jones. Yes, I'm giving you full credit because there was a show apparently a while ago, Arn, that he asked a question and I never mentioned his name. So I'm just publicly apologizing right here on the Arn Show for doing that because Yambag is the man. He contributes to a lot of the shows here. And I love it. He says, what does Arn think about steel cage matches in general? What do you think? Do you like the escaping the cage versus ending the match with a pinfall or submission? Which one are you a fan of when it comes to cage matches?
I like a bad guy, if done properly, from the beginning. I like run-ins to where the good guy keeps putting himself in a position to win a match, but here comes because, you know, AEW is perfect for that because they're all factions. There's so many factions. You run down the buddies who prevent the guy from getting, you know, their buddy from getting beat. And the run-ins get to the point to where, okay, we're going to settle it in the cage.
Yes.
And it's payday for the good guy. And the cage does prevent the other bad guys from getting in there. They don't get to climb the cage and get in. They don't come through the door, and you settle it, and you bloody up the bad guy, and it's payday for the good guy, and everybody finally has closure. It feels like the end of a gimmick or the end of a angle.
But the stipulation of the cage itself should be pinfall or submission within the cage, or is it if you make it to the outside, you can win? Because that's always been a thing.
Yeah, I like pinfall submission.
That's right. That's right. That's what the cage is for, is so that you're trapped in there and you fight it out in a cage.
And when you're stuck in there where it's just you and him, he's more man that night.
That's right. Yeah, this whole if you can escape and run out, that's like the chicken, that's just my opinion, chicken shit style, if you can run out and then you get the victory that way. I mean, it was a fun twist. WWF did it back in the day. But to me, as an old school wrestling fan, a cage is where it all comes to settle it. It's to keep everyone out of it, and for you two to use that thing as a weapon, and it's all settled right there in the middle of the ring, pinfall submission.
Well, the best example I could give you, and I could never get used to this, even though the fans came to accept it a little more. A guy like John Cena, who is your knight in shining armor, why would he ever win a cage match by escaping?
Right.
Leaving the fight. It never made sense to me. That's a guy that just, when they locked you in a cage with him, he was going to beat you. That's it. And he did.
And that's a great analogy, great way to put it. Why would you want to have a babyface win by leaving the fight? Boom. Well, following the unveiling of Flair as the Black Scorpion, boys and girls, Sting worked the house shows in the main event against the Nature Boy. He's back with the Nature Boy. You and Barry, though, you guys continue working with Doom. This time, you guys are in steel cage matches because you know what? That street fight wasn't rough and tough enough. Now you're going to end up in steel cage matches with them, Arn. The titles were on the line. Doom would always find a way to win when they were. But in all the non-title matches, you and Barry would win those. You like how that worked?
Got to be a coincidence somewhere.
And all these matches went on after Sting and Flair, and you've told us before, Arn, that the practical reason is because you have to build to the steel cage, which you just outlined for us. But hypothetically, if the issue with Flair and Sting is supposed to be that heated, why not put them in the cage to close the shows and have you and Barry wrestle Doom in street fights like the one you just had at Starrcade?
Because I think if done properly, a world title match should be the best match on the card. And when you put them in a cage, you limit what they can do, especially, Rick and his shenanigans going out over the top,
flipping
and
out
doing
over.
all that stuff. You take the ability to do that away. I just think a world title match should go a long time, have a lot of false finishes, and basically be a wrestling match.
And have everything available to them, similar to what happened a few years earlier when you and the Rock and Roll Express and the Minnesota Wrecking Crew did the steel cage. That wasn't the main event. That was a main match on that card, but the main event still would have Flair go on and do his thing several years earlier, and Jim Crockett. Well, listen, during this time, Arn, believe it or not, you're doing double duty because you're still the television champion. Tom Zink's challenging you for the TV title week after week. And here we go. You just wrapped this up with Doom at Starrcade. In our fifth clip of the week, we have the challenge from Tom Zink and your answer to him. We're going to watch it, our fifth clip of the week. This is from WCW on December 22nd, 1990. The Z-Man challenges UAA.
45 straight wins. 45 straight victories. And next week, you have the opportunity of a lifetime. You will fight AA Arn Anderson for the world television title. Do you really think? I know you're on a big roll, Z-Man. I know you've been mowing down all the competition. Do you really think you can upset the enforcer for the world TV title?
Yes, I do. I think I can do it.
You really think? I mean, you're walking into the ring with a man, the best wrestler on television today.
I agree with you. He's great. He's probably the best TV champion ever. Okay? You're right. I'll give you that much.
Well, then I tell you what, I'll give... Well, now hold it. Hold it. No, this is not...
Set this up.
Wait a minute. Hold on. No fights out here. You yourself, you have to defend your title next week. You yourself have been injured. You have stitches. You have broken knuckles. You're already walking into a match at a disadvantage. Don't take an opportunity here.
Don't tell me what I can or can't do. People been telling me what I couldn't do all my life. A lot of people call me an overachiever, Zink. They say you're not big enough. You don't have a body like Tom Zink. You shouldn't have got what you got in this life. Well, my friend, you look in these eyes, and I look in yours, and I see that same fire, and I see that same hunger, that will to achieve when everybody thinks you can't. But remember one thing, Greek gods, this may be a grandstand play for you, a way to get a beautiful women, but by God, that's how I make my living, and I'm better than everybody else. A couple of broke knuckles, a few stitches, makes no difference. When you're a world-class athlete, when you're a world champion, you suck it up and go. Now, you want to be somebody, you want to elevate yourself, next week, my friend, make your grandstand play right on this show. I don't think you're man enough to jump on me. Bottom line.
I'll be here, Arn Anderson. Just come along, huh?
You know what I recognize in that promo, Arn?
What?
What are you wearing?
Horseman jacket.
Oh, looking so sharp in that jacket. Coming to our show store soon, you will see that Horseman jacket, baby.
Yes,
I love it. So listen, let's talk about Tom Zink a little bit here. He's obviously looking the part. I mean, they're building him up. He's a young star, good-looking dude. And here you are, TV champion. He put you over as the best TV champion. Paul Lee did as well, probably of all time. What do you think? Is this kind of your position now as a television champion? Is the office saying, Arn, look, we're bringing an influx of young talent. We'd love for you to kind of be that guy that helps work with some of these guys. Is that kind of the role that you see yourself in, or not so much? Or feels like you are, though.
Yeah, and that's the way it should have been. Him, Pillman, you got all these good-looking guys, great athletes. The girls loved them. That was, even though it was for the world television title, not the world heavyweight title, but that whole thing was just done the right way.
It was.
I made a heel out of myself, even though a lot of what I said was true. Tom, flawless competitor as far as talent, looks, combine it all together. Handsome guy, looked like a movie star, good physique, good athlete, good worker, all that stuff. He was all rolled in, and he let me have my say, which set him up. You wanted at the end of that promo to go, damn, Tom, shut him up. And that's my feeling as a fan watching that. So I think that was one that we got right.
Tom Zink looked the part of a professional wrestler and was a physical specimen and the textbook definition of a body guy. To quote our pal Tony Schiavone, Tom Zink was a damn good-looking man.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what
sure
Tony
was.
says. A commitment to diet, exercise, and good genes aided the Z-Man with his signature look. But Arn, I can only imagine what Zink would have looked like in 1990 if he had access to AG1 from one of our oldest sponsors and supporters, Athletic Greens. Arn, just one scoop, and it gives 75 high-quality vitamins and minerals. I'm talking about improving your gut health, sleeping better, improved focus. What's not to like? It is a slam dunk, isn't it, Enforcer?
And you know what? You didn't see? The guy had incredible calves, off-the-hook calves. Now, had he had the Athletic Greens as an aid and assist, hell, he might have went in and competed in the Olympia bodybuilding contest. I don't know.
And hell, if he would have had our other product that we advertise on the show, he would have never been able to escape his hotel room looking as good as he looked. But listen, AG1 has everything you need. They're going to help you with your sleep quality and recovery. It costs less than $3 a day. Completely worth the investment in you. And it's received 7,000 plus 5-star reviews. Right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. Just one scoop in a cup of water every day. It doesn't get more simple than that. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. Make it easy. Go with Athletic Greens. They're going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do, ready? Visit athleticgreens.com/Arn. Again, that's athleticgreens.com/Arn to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. Well, buddy, it didn't take long because the following week, the Z-Man challenges you for that beautiful, beautiful television title. In an upset, the Z-Man would defeat you for that championship. Here we go in our final clip of the week. Yeah, we're ending on this note. We have the final 2 minutes of this match. Let's see how the Z-Man took that TV title off our man, the Enforcer. You ready for this, Arn?
In the words of the Iron Sheik, I'll be damned.
Here we go.
Now getting solid behind the challenger. Oh! Anderson, he was distracted by the fans chanting, and that will certainly change your attitude, and it perhaps will change the complexion of this match. Anderson in a lot of trouble, barely hanging on the ropes. The Z-Man went for him, but he wasn't there.
Tremendous mistake on the part of Arn Anderson.
Karate kick by the Z-Man. Anderson may be out. His foot on the bottom rope stops the count.
Very uncharacteristic of Arn Anderson to make a mistake of that caliber.
Z-Man coming right down on the leg of Arn Anderson. And this is the legitimate item. His leg is now injured thanks to Z-Man. Anderson is now really working the clock, Bob.
And the clock is becoming more and more of a factor. Out of the ring uses up valuable seconds.
Inside 4 minutes was Z-Man. Anderson and the time limit as his enemy. And Anderson counters with a sleeper of his own. The TV champion now just wanting to hold on and take it to the time limit. Cradles him up. One, only got one. Now Anderson sets himself. He's on the second turnbuckle. Getting some momentum. Off he came, but he was met with the right hand. Anderson down from the right hand. The Z-Man trying to fight his way up. He's going to go for it all right here. A high-risk move by the Z-Man. Can he hit it? A drop kick. He nailed him. He nailed him. 1, 2, 3.
We got a new champion.
The winner and the new television champion, Z-Man!
The crowd standing as they're jam-packed in the center stage. The Z-Man has realized their dream. He's the new world television champion.
Arn, what do you think watching that back? Z-Man seeing his childhood dream come true, winning the
Bullshit.
TV title.
It's bullshit.
Hey, you know what? I got to give you a little bit of a con remark here. I mean, you lost the title, so I got to lift you up a little bit. That move where you come off the top or whatever, and then you just the stop and then the flip after the punch in the gut, that takes some athleticism, buddy. Are you sure you weren't popping athletic greens back then?
No, I try to tell people I was a great athlete.
You look like a spry chicken.
My God, I was almost a high flyer there for a second.
I thought you were like one of the young bucks there for a second. The way
Wait
that
a
you just
minute.
did the flip,
Let's don't get ridiculous. No, you know, we made everything we did as big as we could.
That was cool. Yeah.
You know, and just take your time and sell everything. And, you know, it was a back and forth affair the last couple of minutes. You didn't know who was going to win until somebody won. So,
and the crowd reaction, I mean, they lost their minds when that happened for him, which is what it's all about when it comes to it, is building to that big moment. And here's another reason why, Arn. With that victory, the Z-Man ended your longest reign as television champion.
You know what? It was a good choice at that time. It was a good win. And I think a lot of that reaction was surprise and shock, and you know, and they didn't necessarily, because it wasn't this long running angle, you know, with Tom and I, they reacted properly, and that's what we do. It's what we work for, that reaction, crowd satisfaction. That's the name of our business.
And I can't help, I'd be remiss, I say it every week, I feel like, on the show, but Jim Ross's work on the commentary and doing what he did as far as just selling the time limit that was left, getting us at home all worked up into the match too. Oh my goodness, there's only so much time left. Again, we talk about it every week, but it can't be understated, the emotion, 1, 2, and then the moment, and it explodes, and we're all just, it just feels so good. He was so good, man.
Yes, he was. And he is. He continues to do it today, and as do great announcers in any sport. They pull you in.
Suck you in. Yep.
Yeah, they sure do, and let you know exactly what you're seeing if you don't understand it.
Well, buddy, before we get out of here, we have a few fan questions as we wrap up December 1990. Wow, we're wrapping up this first year of the 90s of your career. Up first, Brad Stanton wants to know, how much pain were you in after that match with Doom?
Plenty.
Yeah.
What do you think? I mean, those guys were physical. And let me tell you guys, the ring, you know, I can't stress enough, is no trampoline. You know, it's, in those days, the one advantage we had is you wrestled. Now, again, I just left WWF, But my entire career leading up to WCW was wrestling 250 and up number of days. And your body would get in shape as far as taking bumps and things of that nature. And if you worked out frequently and you stretched every night before your match and you did all the right things, you could get yourself in what we call ring shape. It would prevent some injuries and protect you from stuff, that was just every day. But just my chiropractor explained it to me one time that made so much sense. God bless him. Pete Hunt, 25 years he was my chiropractor. He would go, I'd go in, on his table, and he'd go, man, where you been? What have you been doing? You're all out of whack again. Well, the normal stuff, Pete. And one day he just said, I've watched pretty closely since I've been, you've been a patient. And he goes, every time you take one of those flat back bumps like you do, it's like being in a car wreck and getting rear-ended. And if you do 10 of those a night, you've been involved in 10 car wrecks. He says, I hate to see you 20 years from now or 10 years from now or 5 years from now. And he pretty much scoped out, the history of how bad it would get. But working with Doom and Simmons and Reed, it was very, very physical.
I'm sure if you searched hard enough on that forehead of yours, because we saw the Band-Aids on your head after that night, you could find a scar. One named Butch, one named Ron, somewhere up there. Sure you named
How's that?
Oh, yeah, they're up there. They've left their mark. Doom's left their mark for sure. Drew Landy, our buddy, he's back next, and he wrote in, do you look at Sting's run as champion and think, Vince McMahon could have done so much more with him? Did you or anyone else voice that sentiment to Sting himself, or did you ever even think that way? Because now, listen, this is you coming back, having experienced that WWF magic dust, I guess, if you will.
I wouldn't have advised anybody to go up there leave WCW to go up there.
So that was the furthest thing from your mind. You were like, kid, enjoy your run here and make as much as you can here.
Well, and he was a family man, and he was a guy that was used to being home and wanted to be at home, and it would not have flown for him.
It's so fun though, because as I work with you and do these shows and talked up with other guys, you really see there's so many different perspectives, right? We have our fan perspective, what we would like to see in the dream scenarios of what we would have loved to have seen as fans. But then there's the reality scenario of you as wrestlers and what you were looking for out of your career and your family life and things that we don't even think about that was more important to you, quite frankly, than maybe going up to WWF and having all that limelight and spotlight. And yeah, it could have been more money, but it could have been a lot less of the other stuff that meant a lot to you.
Yeah, it's just the value that you put on what. Is it career? There were some guys that could have been gone 340 days a year, twice on Saturday, twice on Sunday, and loved every minute of it because they love traveling, seeing different cities and all that. A lot of guys would love to make a lot less money, work 150 days a year, and be with their family.
There it is. That's it. Jason Donahoe, similar style question. He said, did Arn ever look back at this time period creatively and think WWF doesn't seem so bad? No, because you were happy, right?
Yeah.
In your personal life.
Yeah. I mean, I was at a point where, coming from a family where my mother was an only child, I'm an only child, I didn't have any family. And now suddenly I have Aaron and Barrett, my oldest son, and my life changed forever when you have your first child. There was no cousins or uncles or aunts or floating around. It's the three of us, and now it's the four of us, now that her mom has passed and all that stuff, and my grandparents have passed. We have no extended family. It's the four of us, and that's my life. That's my cocoon. That's where I spend
your whole world,
everything. And
that's awesome.
It's the most important thing to me in my life, more above, way, way above everything else.
There you go. Final question this week. Wrestling Alternate Commentary asks, what modern day stadium or arena would have been a dream venue for a Starrcade? So he's asking about a modern day. Now, you've been in several things. I think about, did you get to go to the Arthur Ashe Stadium? Were you there for the AEW shows they did at Arthur Ashe?
Yes, I was.
So that's a modern day type there, or other arena. Anything that you can point out and thought, man, this would have been a cool setting for like an old time Starrcade.
Yeah, that was that Arthur Ashe is a hell of an arena. You know, I think we had, what do we have, 18, 19?
You did $1 million gate there. I know that.
Yeah, it was.
But it looks really cool on TV, on television.
It really does. It really does. Wouldn't it be nice to fill up that L.A. stadium?
SoFi?
Stadium?
SoFi.
That thing looks so awesome.
Doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, and I wouldn't mind, how about the Vegas, the Raiders?
Yeah, Las Vegas Raiders, yeah. They're no stadium.
I could zip up there and play a few slots on at halftime.
Well, hey, SoFi, that's where WrestleMania is going to be this coming year. That's where they're doing it.
Yeah.
That's going to be massive. So
yeah, wish them a lot of success, because when the business is hot, everybody's getting paid. Yeah,
you
bingo.
got it, buddy. Well, listen, that's going to... Hey, guys, thanks for the questions. Really, seriously, keep them coming. This concludes our coverage of 1990. But, man, we're putting these recordings together on short notice due to the holiday schedule, but we want more and more questions. So next week, watch your socials for the episode topics and episode-specific hashtags. We got another Ask Arn Anything coming up before the end of the year. That'll be our last episode to wrap up this year. So start thinking of those, get them posted. And it's going to be a lot of fun. Check it all out on our social media. Support the Enforcer. Go to arnlinks.com. That's where you're going to find the links to everything, whether it's his Horsemen page, whether it's the Arn Show store page, whether it's to our various social media profiles, our YouTube channel. It's all there, arnlinks.com. And the last thing I want to leave you with is that Kickstarter campaign, arncomic.com. You guys are unlocking all the goodies right now because of your contributions, so keep it going. This is so exciting to see our man, his autobiography in graphic novel form. And Arn, we're just so excited to be able to support you in this way, man.
Much appreciated, guys. And hey, if you're enjoying the show and you like the format, tell a friend.
There you go.
A lot of people probably don't know we're out there.
That's right. Pass the word along. Next week, we're going to kick January off with a bang. The world title returns to the Horsemen as the Nature Boy. He's going to defeat Sting. We're going to look at Double A and Barry continuing to work with Doom. And the build to War Games, they're going to happen in February of 1991. Man, so much fun to come. We're really looking forward to 2023. We got a lot of things in the work as we head into the new year as well. But this time, right now, we're ready to wrap things up. On behalf of the Enforcer, Arn Anderson, I'm Paul Bromwell, and you have been listening to Arn